Hi guys, it's Ryan from theprivatebanker.com. I'm just going to do a quick recap for crude oil today and what I saw on the day. So going into the open today, obviously Sunday, Globex open, pit session open, we see a gap up from this 2-day balance from Thursday and Friday. So this is a change in the market. We did open up just at this high of this previous trade, and we see a peak above this. And I started to establish a short from this location, leaning off of confidence on the higher time frames. If we quickly have a look at the higher time frames, you can see here on this month, on the monthly developing value, we've opened up this month, and we started to see rotations into the previous month's value area. We see a destination trade to the value area high, and we've now tested the developing value area high from from last month. And we are currently looking overbought as VWAPs at 101.30. So what we are waiting for at the minute is for value to catch up with price, or price to come back to value before we make our next decision. But as I said, this was major confluence, so this 102.40s was major confluence for me to sell. Also, if we look at this this year's quarter, we're at the value area high for the quarter, so this is also confluence as we're seeing two-way balanced market. So this is an extreme until it's broken and we see an imbalance. And we're also at last year's value area high. So in this year we see a test above last year's value, reversion to the mean. We see another test above last year's value, and we're coming back into value again. And now we're just testing the value area high for the third time here. So it's either make or break. I mean, if we sort of break out this area, we're going to come up and clean these areas and see maybe offer back up to the 106.75 and clean up this high that was made in Globex. Or we're going to continue to see two-way trade in this market with an inside year from last year. So interesting to see how we continue to play out here. But obviously on the daytime frame at the minute, I have confidence in this area, so I was looking to lean off this 102.40 area. So off of the open, something else I want to mention actually quickly before I mention this is the fact that we had an open gap above us here. I mean, this is the previous open gap, and then this is the gap up from today. So as you can see, we opened gap up today, and we couldn't close out the gap that we opened up, and this is the previous open gap. So we found some offer up into this previous gap, above this gap down level. So this is an important level, also at 102.34, and we found resistance in this area. So we couldn't fill the gaps. We still have an open gap above us here, and we have now an open gap below. So some clear levels of resistance and support here in the current market. But anyway, like I said, go back onto the daytime frame, we open gap up, and I was looking to fade this area. So off of the open, we see the market sort of coming into balance here, just grinding higher, and we had the overnight highs here at 102.37s. So on this rotation up to 102.37s, I established a short from 102.38s with a stop above the 102.55s, and I managed to get one scale out into VWAP, and we see this run up higher here. And the initial balance was in at this point, so while I was watching the footprint with looking into my stop area, and we see clear absorption above this high. I don't have the current footprint on me, but I believe there was a 260 seller, the 102.44s, 45s possibly, and there was a couple hundred lots of absorption, selling absorption into this high into this highs, sorry. And a clear exhaustion, and as soon as we came back in, we see the market pretty much test one side of value to the other. So this was probably the better location to get the short today. I was a little bit premature here, but the idea and the trade ended up working out. So I managed to get one scale off here, I managed to get my second scale off, fully scaled here, and what I was looking for is a possible rotation back into the previous day's value and trading range, as we see this 2-day balance. So the target was sort of the 101.60s, 50s, but we just couldn't do this. We ended up just seeing two-way trade. So the market came back up again to my area, tested initial balance higher, tested the developing value area higher, and I started to establish a short here with again a target on the other side of value. And so this is how I approached today. I mean, I had a running position all the way through this trade. I could have obviously just treated this as a destination, but I was trying to treat it to see if we could break out, because this 30-minute TPO actually closed outside the initial balance. So I was looking for possible range extension to the downside, but we just didn't see that. We just see two-way trade coming back into this market. So that's how I approach crude for today. Just one thing to note here, obviously, is a visualization. These are the current this is the current distributions that I'm tracking, and as today, as like I said, we just tested above this current distribution, and we found sellers holding support of this previous sort of point of control area. So what would be interesting to see here is if we see a breakout away from this area and we find offer, or if we continue and see two-way trade continue in this market, and we come and visit these previous distributions and fill some volume in down here. One thing to note is we did have a test above last week's high here, and we are one time framing on the weekly, and we've sort of put 1, 2, 3 weeks of one time framing in now. So as long as this low doesn't get taken out, the sort of 99.47s, then we are seeing some one time framing on this weekly with a destination to the 103s possibly. But we've had a peak above this last week, and we found some current resistance here. So the time will tell if we hold this and we see some offer bid back down, or we continue to find offer here or not. Anyway, that's just a quick wrap up for crude oil. I'm just going to quickly touch base on gold and what I saw on the day here. Two ways you could have traded this market, depending on how you traded it off of the open on the Globex, or you were trading it in the pit gold session. I mean, we've pretty much opened up at the value area low for the month, and this market's been very, very rotational with, as you can see, just contracting ranges on the just compression. So I mean, something's got to give here. We're just trading at this quarter's mean and this year's developing mean here as consolidation continues to come in. But I mean, we are still getting some nice rotations here inside this current trading range. So like I said, just fade the extremes of this current market until we see a change in the market perception. So like I said, you could have traded this two ways. You could have traded it to the long side off the Globex open, or into the pit open. You could have traded it to the short side. A clear exhaustion into the RTH open at sort of 820, and this lined up with this month's developing value area high to the tick. So the high came in today at sort of 105.6, and the developing value area high was at 1305 even. So what you could have done is either faded this area with a stop above this area within your risk parameters, or you could have waited for the market to come back into balance and short the developing value area high. And what was beautiful here is if you ran a let me just add this quickly. Let me pause the video. If you ran a medius VWAP anchored from this high, you can see it pull back to this mean, where you could have started to establish a short position with a stop above either the high of day or above the value area high, depending on your risk tolerances on your account. So that was what I saw on gold today. Like I said, you could have traded it both ways. Just still two-way trade balanced into this market. As you can see on the daily bars, we pretty much opened up, tested at the lower of the bracket of this micro bracket that we're in. We see offer all the way to the highs of the current trading ranges, and then we see bid all the way back down. So just very, very indecision in this market still. If we look at quickly also the current composite of this big range that we are trading in, like I keep highlighting in my videos, we're just trading below in between the 1307s and the 1277s, and we're just seeing rotations in this region. So just fading these extremes is working very well for the minute with reversions back to the mean until we break out. If we find offer, then we're obviously going to find we're going to come up and explore this next distribution, and again if we find bid, then we're most likely going to come down and explore ranges in these distributions. Anyway, I hope you enjoy these videos, and please visit the forum at and the website at theprivatebanker.com, and if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask.